how their their brain
Are we
works.
live now? Are we live now, Martin? Okay, right. So we're here for the Monza round of VDRL here. Obviously,
Like,
Monza's a very historical circuit. Opened in
Martin,
1921. What were you going to
invite
say?
me, bro. Invite
You were
me.
going to
I just want
oh,
to invite me. Yeah, you can continue.
yeah. So we're here at Monza, which is a very historical circuit. I think it was opened in 1921, and
It
it's hosted
was.
many legendary races since then. Um, and all the big drivers have won here. I think there was like your legendary names from Ascari, Fangio, Jim Clark, Graham Hill, Jackie Stewart. Pretty much all of them have won at this racetrack. There was a race in 1933 where Giuseppe Campardi and his co-driver Bord Sacchini, I can't remember what his first name was, crashed and were killed, which was a very bad thing, obviously.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's not forget is the home track of Ferrari. So we really want to see some good performances from them tonight.
Yep, so we've got Kevin and we've got Rajic. So Kevin is known for being quite quick, and so is Rajic. So I think they've got a very good I think they've got a very good lineup there. It's not like they've got mediocre drivers that aren't going to do anything. I didn't see if it was equal performance. I don't think it is it, on this day?
It is equal performance is
It is equal performance good.
yeah,
Um,
because so we have some good drivers today that really stand out in the Friday tier. We have Toro that got first place. He finished qualifying on P3. After the first turn, he got on P18, if I'm not joking, or P16, and then did a comeback on P1. So that's impressive from the Red Bull Racing driver.
and it's raining for qualifying. I'm not sure if that's intermediate or full wet conditions, but that looks very wet from my perspective. This reminds me of 2017 when it was the qualifying where Lewis got pole and Lance Stroll put it in third place back when he was actually really good. And we've got our first driver coming out onto the track. Kinnick, I don't know how you pronounce that. Kinnick comes onto the start finish straight, and he's on the intermediate tyres, so it is in fact intermediate conditions rather than full wet conditions.
It is wet, like it will be wet, but the track isn't really tracked right at the moment. I think in 2 minutes or five there will be the track extremely wet. Everyone should I think go out from the pitch right now because I don't think they will have a bigger chance when the track gets really wet.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, Jix is also gone out on track. If it's going to start raining now, though, surely everyone will be. I mean, I suppose a lot of people are coming out of the pits, but surely everyone will come out immediately. So maybe it's not. No, it looks quite treacherous, but it doesn't look like it's going to be. I don't think it should. If it was going to instantly turn to wet conditions, I think that they'd have all come out by now.
I just heard that at the finish of in the last 5 minutes of the qualifying there will be no rain.
Okay, so it's going to be a massive interesting bit right at the end.
Yeah,
Kinnick
but
is lagging a bit for me, so I think I'm not sure who Martin's on board with, but I think we should go on board with Jix because Kinnick is lagging for me, and it really is really annoying.
yeah, but let's be real. Even if the rain is going to be easier and there will be no rain, the tracks will still be wet. So everyone who will go on soft or medium tires have a big risk to take.
Yeah, it depends, because sometimes the track dries out very quickly, but sometimes it doesn't dry out at all. I mean, Monza's a track where it can dry out very much on the straights and into the chicanes, but for example in the Lesmos, you've got a lot of trees there and a lot of forest, so it hangs, the weather hangs in the air and it doesn't really dissipate. I mean, we had a race in Austria a couple of weeks ago, I was commentating with Jale, and it went from dry to full wet conditions within a lap. It was crazy. So
Yeah.
hopefully that doesn't happen. I mean, Jix is on his lap now, and he's managing to handle the conditions pretty well. He's one of those guys who you just think who will just do really well regardless of the conditions, and I think he's proven that. He's coming up to the Alfa Romeo. I'm not sure if Kinnick has gone off at some point on this lap, but Jix is definitely looking very dominant on this run so far.
Let's do not forget that Jigs has DNF'd in the Friday tier.
Did he? And he's also just gone invalid, so he's had to back off of that lap. He's going to try and he's going to get some EOS back up and then go back at it again. Rajic, the Ferrari man, is coming through the last sector now. He hasn't invalidated. He's going to be the first person with a legit lap time, I think, who's going to come across the line and finish it, because I don't think Kinnick has done any good on this lap. It was only a 31.8. That's pretty slow, and Rajic has just lost the back end. Oh my god. Jerry's retired. I'm not sure how that's happened for Jerry, but he is out of the session. He's crashed at Lesmo. He's crashed at He's crashed at Lesmo too. Oh, how has he done that? He's on the inside of the corner. I don't know how he's done that. I'm going to quickly start streaming my POV, because then we can get any sort of extra bits. Let me just start streaming. You can do this bit if you want.
131 in wet conditions is really good.
As Epic has just gone to the top of a 128. Yeah, I knew that Kinnick's time wasn't very good because I could see how much he lost to Jix. Kevin's only on a 132, which surprises me. But I suppose he must have made a mistake on that. There's no way he's on that time legitimately. Werner is only 600ths of a second behind his teammate, and Clouds has just gone up to P4 in the AlphaTauri. Good job from him there. Still a handful of drivers not completed any laps yet. One of those being Jix, who we saw going very well on that previous lap. Let's see how he does at the end of this lap, coming up to the curve at Alboreto, recently renamed in honour of the 1980s race winner and Ferrari driver a couple of years ago. And Jix comes up to the line, and across it he goes. It's a 128.2. He looked very comfortable on the previous lap, and even though he obviously made that mistake last lap, he's managed to fix it up this lap, and he's now on provisional pole position for him. Rajic is in the pits, so he's happy with his time as well. Envy is on a flying lap as well. The Aston Martin driver, he's got an Alfa Romeo right behind him, but I don't think that Alfa Romeo is on a lap. Oh, is Envy coming into the pits because he's just lifted off? He is not coming into the pits. He's set a 1 minute 36.7.
This sets up like a very excited race. It looks very, I don't know, very close between the drivers, even if it's wet conditions. But you can see that the last race was pretty chaotic. We had, I think, 3 safety cars. But I hope to see this race cleaner and a lot more action.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin's just gone P2, which means he's a bit closer to Jix than the rest of the chasing pack is. That could be a good battle between those two. But it's definitely a big field spread. Envy on that 1 minute 36 really needs to put his foot down, because that is awful. That's an awful lap time. Todo's on the lap as well. We've seen, obviously, you said he won the Friday race. As finishing hard has been disqualified for blocking the pit lane. So I assume what he was trying to do is, he was just trying to get out of other people's way and stay on the inside, but the game has disqualified him for blocking the pit lane. That's tragic for him. He's going to start from the back. There's nothing you can have done about that. Not really, as Todo is losing. He's just about keeping the car in the straight and narrow there as he comes up to the line. This pole position, he's the first man into the 127s. A 127.911. That's a very good lap time from him there. We'll see what can happen in the future. As Envy has gone, by the way, Envy's massively improved his time. He's up to a 129.3. no longer on that 1 minute 36.
Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry for the what happened.
Yeah. Do you want to go on board with? I think Torrens is the only guy who hasn't set a lap yet, and he's on a flying lap. Well, do you want to take over this one?
I don't think I can.
Are you not in the lobby?
I am in the lobby, but I'm racing too.
Oh, okay.
I did a bet with someone that if I get qualifying top 5, he will let me race. So,
okay. So on board with...
I am by the way 114 if you want to know.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're on your outlap now. I didn't know that you were also coming. That's not. I get that now. Toto's just got on a 127.3. He's got a second clear of anyone else. I mean, I'm not sure. Martin can tell me in commentators chat. Is it full qualifying or is it short? Because Toto is absolutely flying.
It's short.
Is it short? Okay, that's good. I hate full qualifying. I don't know why people use it. It's a stupid thing. As Torrens goes on 1 minute 30.0, and you're on a flying lap, Joker. No pressure. As we see,
had a flying lap, but it was I didn't had gas. I ran out of gas.
Fuel. You ran out of fuel.
In the last turn.
Oh, okay. So next across the line is Kinnick. He's 1.5 seconds up on his previous best, which would put him up a few positions. Let's see what he can do coming out of the final corner, up towards the line. It is definitely getting drier. He's up to P10. Next is the AlphaTauri of Clouds. He isn't going to set a good lap time. He's on a 1 minute 40. Next is Remus into the pits. Rajic comes across the line. He goes P2. Only he's less than a tenth behind Toto, so this track is definitely drying up. Into the pits comes, by the way, 114. And next up is the McLaren, unless that's a... Yep, Torrens is 2.1 seconds up on his previous time, and as he slows down, I think he might be coming into the pit lane. That is, in fact, what's happening. I think a lot of drivers... I think a lot of drivers are gearing up for one last push in the last couple of minutes of the session. Jix being one of them. As Kevin's on his outlap. I'm trying to find if anyone is actually on a legit flyer. Clouds he's got the traction control on. I can hear that. He's done through all the rev limiter. Clouds coming up to the final corner. As Joker's rejoined us. Oh, Clouds loses the back end. Ria locks it through the final corner. And he's spun that car round through 90 degrees. He needs to stay there until this Ferrari passes, and probably this Haas as well. Oh,
let's not forget Monza. Monza, it's one of the craziest races of the calendar because we all know there will always be at least one crash in Monza. We have a crash even in the qualifying today.
Yeah, Monza's always, because it's so fast, people tend to run low downforce setups, and it makes the car really skittish through the Ascari chicane effectively.
Yeah, especially in the third turn.
What, Curva Grande, the flat one?
Yes, I've seen a lot of people lose control because of their speed, and the rear just look here right now where I am, and the rear tires just slip and go into the wall.
Oh, you mean Lesmo 1? You don't mean Curva Grande? That's not the corner.
It's one. It's one.
Yeah, it's Leslie.
I
Gibson's gone
have
fastest,
seen.
by the way.
Yeah, my teammate. I love him. Very
Yeah.
beautiful.
He's gone fastest by a second exactly. He's on a 126.322, and his Toto is on a 127.322. Kevin's gone P2. Still some drivers crossing the line. So there's a lot of drivers out on track at the moment. They're just trying to get laps in. There is definitely a dry line forming. I don't think it was fully formed by the end of the session, but it will definitely be interesting to see how these drivers react. Don't Play Zero comes across the line. He's into P5. This could be very, very interesting towards the end of the session. Someone's gone completely across the grass there. That's Kinnick. As if he doesn't get some sort of penalty from the game by literally doing some lawn mowing off the exit of that corner. Werner is coming up to the last corner. He's currently down on his time. I don't know how you can be down on the 1:30 in these conditions, but I suppose if you drive like a moron, it could happen. I suppose actually he's also not the.
Yeah. Guess what?
Epic is up on his time as well. A second clear of his current time. That could easily put him into the top 5 if he can just get it good off his last corner. Epic up to the line and across it he comes. It will be 3rd place for the Williams man. And Jix is next. Jix is into the pits. Jix either A, doesn't think he can improve, or B, is going on to a brand new set of tyres, which could be easily the better option, is what I'd do. One of the AlphaTauris is coming up to the line, and that's Jaro. I don't know how to say that name. And Kevin up to the line. He's starting in a new fresh lap. He doesn't think the track is going to improve enough to go on to dry tyres. I think Jix might think you can go on to dry, which would be a very big risk, but it will be high risk, high reward if it does pay off for the Mercedes driver. I was just going to see what the current standings are in Tier Sunday, so I can check who's on top and who's a flop.
If I'm right, Red Bull Racing is number 1 in constructors and Toro number 1 in the championship.
Ferrari are currently leading the constructors, and Kevin's leading the drivers.
Well, that's surprising.
Yeah, Werner's come across the line. It's P11 for him. Yeah, I think Jix is waiting for right till the end of the session when the track is completely dried out. That could be a very good idea, but it will also mean that he has less track acclimatization. Shmi improving his time. One of the Ferraris coming through the last corner. I think that might be Kevin. It's not as Rajic on an outlap. Next after that is the Williams of Epic. No, it's not, because he's on an awful lap time. It's one of the Red Bulls, in fact. It's Toto. Toto could easily go top of the pile here. He doesn't. It's only a 1:26.4. Then the two Aston Martins will come across the line. Envy being one of them. And it's not an improvement. Kevin doesn't improve either. So I think he's burning up to do another lap. Jix is on an outlap. He's stayed on the intermediates. So he knows that it's not time for the dries just yet. And I don't think it will be at all. I think if I was Jix, I'd be backing off though. I'd be backing off to get the best track possible. Like someone like the Alfa Romeo of Kinnick will have probably the best track of anyone if he can get to the line in time. Or the people at the back of the pack like Maxi Pro will have a very good track to deal with here. It's all about track evolution in these wet conditions. That's how Nico Hulkenberg got his pole position in Interlagos in 2010. I suppose he was on a dry track as well, so maybe that's a bit of a different story. But yeah, Jaro has just come onto his lap as well. He'll have a good run at it. Rajic across the line to start another one. Mr. Checo has joined it. I don't know who that is. But yeah, we've got a lot of drivers gearing up to go onto their final laps of this qualifying session. I don't think Kinnick is going to make it. I definitely don't think he's going to make it. I think it'll be...
Someone killed me.
Have you spun?
No, someone killed me.
Oh, brilliant.
And I don't have time. Ain't no way. I didn't have time for another lap because of that person.
Right, so clip that. Don't play Zero's coming through the last sector. We'll see what he does as he comes up to the line. Currently in 7th place, but this track is evolving so quickly, he could easily gain half a second just in this one sector. He comes up to the line, takes the inside, and it will be P7 still for the Haasman. Shmee is next, but he's invalid, so it will not be Shmee, it will be Jix. Current pole sitter, could he get into the 125s? It's looking very possible. He puts the throttle down off the exit of the corner and comes up to the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 25.7 for the Mercedes man, and Kevin hasn't done enough. Kevin's stayed in the pits. His teammate Rajic is coming up to the line. Can he displace Jix on the top position? He can. It's a 1 minute 25.7. 6.3, that's 8 thousandths of a second quicker. Toto's also coming up to the line. Werner doesn't improve enough to get into those positions, but Toto does improve to a 126.1. Next up is, I don't know who, but we're going to see Epic improve to 4th. Remus is coming through the last corner, but he's invalid. Envy is coming through the last sector as well, along with Maxiair Pro. Maxiair Pro goes to P7 with that improved track condition. And Envy goes to P7. Mr. Checo doesn't get a lap time in at the end there. But Rajic is your pole man. Rajic steps up when his teammate can't. Rajic on pole position by 8 thousandths of a second, followed by Jix. And that was a very interesting end to the qualifying session.
Okay, my friend, so tell me, because this will be Dried Monza, should I race or remain a commentator? Because you didn't see what happened to me, but should I race in dried conditions, like in the race? What do you think?
You talking to me or Martin? So here are the qualifying results then for this Monza race. So Rajic beat out Jix by, it said it was 8 thousandths of a second before. It's actually 7 thousandths of a second that he beat him by. Then it's Toto, then it's Epic in the Williams, Kevin, then both of the Aston Martins of Remus and Envy. Maxiair Pro in 8th place, followed by Don't Play Zero, Torrens, Werner, Jaroha, Shmee, Kinnick, Clouds, By the Way 114, I Am Jerry, and then finishing Hart will round out the bottom of the pack. And it's dry conditions. Some people are leaving the session. I'm not sure exactly what's happening to them. But
Okay, I'm back as a commentator.
okay, you're going to commentate. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, we have full dry conditions here in Monza. I hope it'll be as close as it was in qualifying in the race. We're obviously seeing these drivers. I mean, I'm not sure when we'll exactly get going, but we will have full dry conditions, which they haven't had so far yet. As we count down to 5 red lights here in Monza. And we are go, 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 go. And does Jix get the best start? He does. He's going to put alongside Rajic as we come down towards the first chicane. This is going to be one of the most important parts of this race. And Jix is on the inside. Jix squeezes the Ferrari out. And Jix gets the position from Rajic as Toto tries to go around the outside and make it P2 for himself. As now Rajic falls down the field as Shmee gets a 5-second time penalty. There's things going off in the background. But now we're coming down towards the second chicane on board. I'm not sure who should go on board with. Finishing Hart's moving up positions. So is Clouds, but Clouds cuts the corner, and Clouds, not sure what was happening to him there. but he's nearly caused a collision in the back of the pack. Epic is right behind Kevin. Yellow flags flying at the back of the pack. Jararoha, who I haven't seen before, isn't doing well. Both the Alpha Tower is back down to the bottom of the grid. But now Epic is trying to overtake Kevin Van Dijk as we come up towards Ascari. Up the inside he goes and pushes him out wide. That's a completely fair move because it's very hard to keep side by side through that corner. And now Epic up to 4th place, but he's going to have to try and keep with those leaders. There's going to be a lot of ERS being deployed in these first couple of laps just because people want to get out of the DRS range because it's so crucial around here. Tordins overtakes Maxi Airpro for 8th place. And Toto will be trying to get Jix as we come in towards turn 1. Already battling for the lead, these two. Toto up the inside, Jix on the outside. Now we make the move. Toto gives him the room, but Jix doesn't. Jix barges him out wide, and that's allowed to send a move at the inside. His finishing heart is up to 6th place. I'm not sure what's happened to him there, but he's now up. He's fallen back down the pack again. I think he may have accidentally cut the corner at turns 1 and 2. And now Rajic is backing off. So these guys are holding each other up, and this could allow Epic to catch up and cause an even bigger train. The two McLarens battling into the chicane. There's a lot going on in this race as we come towards that battle for the lead. It's going to be interesting to see how they react with DRS involved on the next lap.
Yeah, it sure does.
And now we're going to see as Shmi and Maxi Airpro battling into Ascari. Maxi Airpro takes the position and uses that car to park it perfectly on the apex and keep the car behind him. And we've got, his finishing heart is out. Finishing heart is out of the race. He's had a crash on the exit of Ascari, and that's, oh my God, Clouds has hit the debris from Mr. Checo, and that has caused him to lose his front wing. Clouds has retired from the session. I think Clouds may have rage quit there. We have a virtual safety car. And some drivers are pitting. I'm not sure if that's all due to damage, but some drivers are pitting from this race. That's a very weird ending to that race for 3 drivers there. Clouds, Finishing Heart, obviously, by the way, who had to retire right at the start. I don't know what Mr. Checo's trying to pull off here by not pulling into the pits just yet.
Okay.
That was strange.
We have Jigs in P1 in the safety car. The most important thing in this race it's keeping the pace that he has, because he's a very quick driver in qualifying. He's a quick driver in the race itself, and I'm curious to see if Toro will get the win in the Sunday tier 2.
Yeah. I mean, Monza is a weird track because it's not always about who's quickest on the day. It's usually about racecraft, because there are 2 DRS zones around here, and as long as you can keep within that 1 second window and keep with the DRS of the car in front, you're still in the hunt. Like, obviously we have a safety car now, which is going to bunch everyone up. But even before that, we had Jix, Toto, Rajic, and Epic, and Kevin all within DRS range of each other. It's like, for example, like in Las Vegas, as long as you keep within the DRS of the car in front of you going onto the strip, you're going to keep in the battle for the lead. It's the same here in Monza. It's all about having a decent strategy and keeping within the DRS of the car in front. As Envy goes past his teammate Remus, I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. They're causing a by swapping positions. That was very strange. But yeah, we also didn't get a chance to go through the tyres that people are on. Jix and Toto are on the mediums. Rajic is on the hards. That's maybe why he didn't get the best of starts compared to the other 2 drivers. Epic also on the hards. Kevin on the mediums. It's a mix of mediums and hards, really, and then a couple of drivers who decided to go into the softs because they want to be different. But
I don't think the soft will. I don't think they will really have a chance, because in like 5 laps they need to go to the pits, but the other drivers can go in 15, especially the hards can go even in lap 20 or 30.
yeah, I mean, obviously, you're not going to do the entire race on one set of tyres, not only because it is not allowed, but it's not ideal to even do that long on a set of tyres because you'll just lose so much time.
I think the guys that will. I think the guys that have got with hard tires have a strategy that they'll have the hard tires like in the last laps, like 20, 21, 22, and then switch to softs. So they will push when they
Yeah,
get a gap between the other drivers. They will push with the softs.
that could work. I mean, softs are the difference between old tyres and new tyres, especially new softs, is massive on this game. As a Maxi Pro is driving very slowly and isn't catching up to the back of the pack. Hurry up, mate! You're holding the entire field behind you like an absolute spanner. He'll probably catch up anyway, but he's just holding the field behind. I'm not sure how that is. He's got a massive train of cars behind him. You can see it on the map, and you can see it if you look at it in person.
That's not Maxi Pro. That's Mr. Checo.
Mrs. Checo's right at the back. Maxi Pro's holding up a massive. He's not the thing now because now they are all caught up. But he was massively. There was a gap of like 10 seconds to the cars behind him. He was holding up a massive train.
Maybe he has a strategy.
Yeah, what he's doing is he's exiting corners in 5th and 6th gear because he thinks it will, I don't know, make it better for his tyres or whatever. But it's not really going to make a difference in the safety car because he's going at 4 miles an hour. And now he's going on to 1st gear, which is going to be even. I don't understand. Maybe I'm not sure if he's in some weird blend of. Yeah, he literally just shifted straight from 1st to 8th, and then back down to 5th, which is constituting the people behind because I think he's going really slowly out the corner. Then he accelerates a lot, so then the other people accelerate a lot, and then they slow down once they realise they're going back to normal speed, and then it's just a massive chaos.
Oh, okay. So we will have safety car in this lap.
We should do. It should tell us now, or at least coming out of Ascari. There we go. Oh, and Maxi Pro's just hit the car in front of him because he's not looking. Use your eyes, mate. We'll see what happens.
It's the last straight, so let's see the last straight. After the safety car will go in the pits.
So Jix is holding up the pack behind. That's what he should be doing. That's what he needs to be doing. Doesn't want anyone to get a slipstream. Don't even go. You don't even want to go the slightest bit early. You want to be holding people up right to the line. Is what I do. It does annoy people, but then at the same time, you have to get the advantage for yourself. He's crawling through this last corner. He's putting on a little bit of throttle. When is he going to drop the bomb here and go off of his safety car restart? He's slowly creeping up the speed, slowly up to 70, up to 80 miles an hour. When is he going to go? Now! He goes now, and we're going to see Cantoro and Radic behind, slipstream enough as he goes to the inside, goes to the outside, back to the inside. That's all the moves he can make now. He's made 2 moves. He cannot move back to the inside, and he has done. But now we move to see, and we see Epic as well, the inside. He's massively missed his breaking point. Epic pulls into the lead, but he's going to now give up that lead now. There's been crashes behind. I'm not sure what's exactly happened with those drivers, but Jix and Toro were side by side. Radic's there, Kevin's there, Epic is there. Still, even with the penalties he has, as Radic drops behind Kevin. Kevin is obviously more suited to these conditions and more suited to what's going on around him. The pole sitter drops down to P4 then through this safety car restart as we see Epic and Radic battling through the Lesmo corner, through the first Lesmo corner, and through they go into P4 and 5. Toro is staying behind Jix now, and he actually backed off a throttle there to make sure he didn't overtake him coming into Ascari. He's going to try and go for a move instead into the Parabolica corner, or the out curve at Alboreto. It's a Mercedes, a Red Bull, and then a Ferrari. It's 3 different cars in the first 3 positions, 4 different cars in the first 4 positions.
Guys, I'm sorry, but I need to leave you. I don't think I will join you later, but it's something that I need to do. So I will see if I will catch you in a bit.
Okay. So Toto has just exchanged the lead with Jix, and now coming up towards turn 3 and 4 now. We're seeing a lot of drivers change positions around the back here. Jerry and Maxi Epro and Jaro Roja battling. Yellow flags all around the place. It seems that no one seems to know how to drive properly. Jaro Roja battling with Maxi Epro, but Maxi Epro defends correctly and fairly. Kinnick also battling with Remus. The other Aston Martin of Envy into the pits. And now we see Toto and Jix, they might go for it again in this lap, as Toto has 8% less or 6% less ERS than Jix, and Jix has 6% less ERS than Kevin. So right at the back of this pack, Kevin's looking very good as Jaro passes Max. Diablo barges him off circuit. That is not fair from the Williams driver, and contact with Aha, and I think that's, I don't know who else that was. That was, I didn't see who exactly that was, but there was contact between the pair, and it caused a spin for both, synchronized spinning, because Maxi Epro doesn't know how to just give people room like a normal person. Now we have Kevin and Toto and Jix all very close to each other. Rajic close behind Epic. Obviously, Epic has 8 seconds of time penalties from a corner cut at turn 1. Not sure how much of that will get removed. But now we see Kinnick overtaking Jerry. And Jerry spun it. Jerry has spun it through turns 1 and 2. I'm not sure if there was contact between him and another driver, but he's had to recover from a spin. Obviously, got that podium a couple of weeks ago in Hungary, driving an AlphaTauri. That might have been in the series. But he was doing good there, but he's no longer in that same position. Jix now has a DRS on Toto. Kevin has the same DRS advantage, so does Epic and Rajic. So the top 5 all within DRS range of each other, and then is Maxi Epro in 6th place, trying to hold up the cars behind. Torrens to the inside. Torrens makes the move. Torrens moves back over to the racing line midway through the corner, which isn't really acceptable, but it's not really affected anything as Maxi Epro. He has end plate damage there, so he will be struggling. And now we could see a battle for the lead here. Coming up towards turn 1, we've got Jix, we've got Kevin. They're searching as Jix goes to the outside, and I think we might see Kevin to the inside here. We don't. Kevin goes to the inside and backs out of it in the end. So Toto assumes 2nd place, Jix assumes the lead as we come on towards the next lap. As Maxi Epro re-overtakes Torrens, even though he's got that wing damage, he does not want to give up that position under any stretch or any circumstance. So now coming towards, we're on lap 9 of 27. We are a third of the way through this race, and the action is definitely not over. So Jix obviously leading the race, and he will close that gap to Kevin in the driver's standings. He will currently gain 10 points on the Ferrari driver, which will halve the championship deficit to the guy in front of him. Oh, his Epic has crashed. Epic has crashed out of a race off the exit of Lesmo 2. I'm not sure what's happened to him there. No safety car, which I'm surprised at. I don't know why we haven't had a safety car for that. But, he's AI. He was in AI, so he just retired. He went off into the gravel and retired with AI. That's strange. But now, Toto is still right behind Jix, and Kevin is still right behind Toto. Rajic has fallen out of the DRS range, which is unfortunate. But obviously, I think that was because Epic in front of him crashed, which stopped him from being able to do his Jix. Gets the lead taken off of him. And Toto assumes the lead as we come on towards lap 10 of 27. These front 3, the Ferrari, the Red Bull and the Mercedes, will work together just to try and pull away from the cars behind us. Epic has left possession. Kinnick down to 12th. And now Rajic keeps losing time because he's not in that DRS. Maxi Epro is holding up the cars behind like an absolute treat. Or at least the car behind like an absolute treat. Schmee overtakes Werner in towards the chicane. And now we'll see what happens between the rest, or between this and the end of the race. Maxi Epro is still doing a good job and holding up the cars behind. He's so slow because of that wing damage, and it's Mr. Checo is now going to try and move on Torrens because of the near contact that Torrens and Maxi Epro made. As Torrens at the inside into the Ascari chicane, makes the move stick, but Maxi Airpro has all the ERS in the world as we come on towards the back straight, sorry, the main straight, on board with the leaders. The leaders are now going to be fighting with each other as now Jix to the outside. Jix makes a move on Toro. Can Kevin also make a move on Toro? He looks quite far behind, so I don't think it will be possible for the Ferrari man, but Jix reassumes lead. That's another lead change here in Monza. And DRS open to Maxi Airpro to the inside, past Torrens, and I think Mr. Checo is going to do the same. He is going to do the same. And he also is going to try and go up the inside. Oh, I thought he was going to try and go up the inside, but he does mess up his braking. Torrens trying to go around the outside. It doesn't work for him. Not wide enough, that chicane, to be able to make a side-by-side move. But Shmi is now trying to overtake his teammate Torrens. So that's 3 positions lost for Torrens in the space of about 200 metres. Not good for him there. Werner trying to overtake Joe Aha on the grass, but doesn't make the move. He eventually just backs out of it. Doesn't want any part of that. Lap 11 of 27 here in Monza. Werner is definitely struggling. Toto is now right at the back end of Jix. He's just backing off the throttle. He's backing off the throttle, getting out of the slipstream because he wants the DRS. Going on to the main straight, and that allows Kevin to catch back up again. But then Kevin doesn't get the best exit off of this corner, which leaves him vulnerable to the cars, not to the cars behind, it just leaves him moving to second or first. Toro to the inside. Another lead change. It could even just be the case of who's going to lead going on to the final lap if they are all on the same strategy. And Torrens has come into the pits. Torrens has come into the pits. Obviously, those soft tyres are completely dead. As Mr. Checo and Maxi Airpro battling through turn 1 and 2. Shmi also close behind. So this midfield battle is also going on. Garaha and Werner also battling. As Torrens is the first guy to come into the pits for a green flag pit stop in this pit cycle off those soft tyres onto some mediums. So he's going to go soft mediums. That's a ballsy strategy. I'm not sure if it will work, but the McLaren man can give it a go. He wasn't really in a big fight anyway. Toto has got a lack of ERS. He's only got 57%. Meanwhile, the guys behind him have above 90%. So they can just churn and burn that battery, whereas he can't. It's also getting cloudy. I don't think we're going to see any rain, but it is definitely cloudy here in Monza. We can see Toto has Jix right behind. I think we're going to see another overtake. Yes, we do. And Kevin is not going to be able to make another overtake. If you're Toro, there is no. Oh, Toro's going back up the inside. He's trying to send a dive over. There's contact between the two drivers. That's going to mean Kevin's allowed to rejoin this battle. Kevin is now been to second, and he could take first. He's got 100% ERS. He needs to burn some of that if he wants to not be wasting it. As now Maxi Airpro and Mr. Checo battle into turn 1. That was an interesting battle. Toro tried to disrupt the mold, tried to disrupt what was going on with the battle for the lead, and in turn made contact with the Mercedes, and that's allowed Kevin to get right back in this battle for the lead. That's what Kevin would have wanted, but it's not what Toro would have wanted at all. As now Shmi and Mr. Checo slot into position. Kevin has all the ERS in the world, so does Jix. So they could easily work together and try and pull away from Toto. As now he tucks into the slipstream. Will he do what Toto was doing, which was lifting off the throttle? He doesn't need to. He obviously has a bit of a straight line speed deficit to the car in front. As Joey overtakes Kinnick. But we're now going to see, coming up to the start-finish line, Kevin's going to make a move for the lead now. That's our 4th leader of the race if you count Rajic being in pole position on lap 1. And now Toto's going to try it up the inside of Jix. Jix trying to outbrake the Red Bull man after their contact on the last lap. They make slight contact again, but nothing too serious. And now Kevin's in the lead and pulling away because he's using the ERS to good effect. He's trying to pull out of that DRS range. Shmi up to 5th place past Maxi Airpro. And he keeps getting cloudier and cloudier. I'm not sure if... Sorry, at any point. I'm not sure if Martin can ask any other driver. if there is wet weather. As now Kevin has pulled out of DRS range to the cars behind. He's done an amazing job there to pull out of DRS range in less than 2 sectors. Jix and Toto have both realised what he's done, and they're trying to rectify that error. Kevin now in the lead, and he would now extend his championship lead over Jix by 7 points, unless he gets fastest lap on this lap, which is easily possible. And then it could easily be even more. Jix and Toro just need to work together as Shmi and Maxiepo are battling, and that could allow Mr. Checo to get back involved with this. Kevin does set fastest lap, like I predicted. And now Toto is quite far behind Jix, actually. Doesn't catch up enough to make a move into turn 1, Toto. But now we go to Maxiepo. Maxiepo and Shmi battling. This could allow Mr. Checo to get involved as well. Could easily be 3 wide into turn 1 if we're lucky. As Mr. Checo stays behind the McLaren, ducks to the inside, coming into the chicane and makes the move. The 2 blue cars and the orange car, and it's now the 2 blue cars in front. Lap 15 of 27. And now the top 3 are now out of DRS range of each other. Caution sector 2. Maxiepo and Mr. Checo have had a collision, I think. Yep, yellow flag's in place because there's been a collision between those 2. And now Mr. Checo's got Werner up his inside trying to make moves, but he doesn't make it. Jix is now trying to get within DRS range of Kevin, but Kevin just about keeps him out. And Jix trying to stay within that window, not realising that Kevin has more ARS than him, so he will always be able to put in as Toto into the pits. Toto has come into the pits. He's decided to try and undercut these 2 and try and get the lead back on strategy. He's coming in for what tyres, though? Softs are going on to that car. And where will he filter out in terms of traffic? Because there's a massive train of cars coming down the straight now. If he gets caught in that, he will be screwed. It's a clever-looking strategy for the Red Bull man, but if he gets stuck in that train of cars... Actually, he's come out right behind it. He's come out quite far behind it, so you should get away with it. If you're Jix and Kevin, you need to push on this last lap and come into the pits and try and cover off that counter-attack. I'll keep an eye on the gap between Toto and the leaders. But he is devouring that gap. That time is coming down like no other as Maxiepo and Remus battle. Toto is now burning through some of that ERS. And he's gaining so much on the leading pair. He's gained a second on this lap already, and we've only gone through 1 sector. They have to come in. There's no way they're not coming in at the end of this lap. They'll lose so much time if they don't. As Kevin comes round, he's going to come in surely. They're both coming in. No, Jix is staying out. Jix is staying out. That's a silly decision. Kevin comes in because Kevin could still come out ahead of Toto here if he's lucky. As Jix assumes the lead, Rajic assumes second. Soft tyres for Kevin. We'll come down the pits. We'll see where Toto is. Toto is stuck behind cars now. Toto is in a bit of a train. He's going to try and get through here. 3 wide it will be. It's going to be very close. As now Kevin filters back into the pack. Toto was stuck between those cars. And that's affected him to the point where he's not been able to catch up to Kevin. That gap is massive. Toto is now 4 seconds off the lead. Toto is now a massive portion behind the leaders. Shmi gets overtaken by Kevin. I think Kevin is going to cycle back around to be the race leader here. As we come through the middle sector. Jix, I think he's going to lose out. Unless he decides not to come in this late. He's not coming in. I don't know what his game is, but it's not one that I like. As we see, yeah, Toro's down in 5th. That will be 3rd once everyone else can worry about that much. But yeah, this is a very interesting approach from Jix to stay out even past the sell-by date of those tyres. We are 2/3 of the way through this race. There's not really been much chaos. There's only been one safety car. When usually in VDRL you either see 0 safety cars running racing, it's boring, or 5 and it's really entertaining. This has been no safety cars but still entertaining. As Toro's trying to creep into the DRS range of Schmid, deploying a little bit of overtake there to try and get in that window. He should be able to get in. Schmid has just gone deep anyway, so that should put Toro right in attacking mode. Going for Lesnar 1, and I think, yeah, Schmid just backed off there. He realised that he could get in the way of the lead battle and has decided against fighting Toro, and he doesn't have DRS. Unfortunately for the Red Bull, Jerry passes Mr. Checo. Will Jix? Jix has stayed out again. So Jix keeps just staying out. I don't know what his game is, but it's a strange one. Those tyres are very old, and he's losing a lot of time to the likes of Kevin. Kevin set fastest lap that last time around. I don't know how much he's losing in terms of time. 23.7, 21, 2 seconds a lap is what he's losing. I think maybe that fastest lap is an indictment to get into the pit lane. Jerry's had contact with some drivers. I think that's Max Diepro, and there was someone in the grass there. That's Mr. Checo. And now Jerry and Max Diepro battling into the middle sector chicane. But Jix is going to come round to the pit lane again, surely. He has to come in. He's going to lose out to Toro even, if he doesn't come in this lap. Oh, it's raining! Is he waiting for it to turn into wet conditions? He's waiting for it to turn into wet conditions. It is raining in Monza. I said it was cloudy the entire time, and now it's raining on track. So, what we thought was a stupid call by Jix to stay out could be an inspired call. Rajic doing the same. Kevin goes fastest again. I don't think he'll be able to beat lap time with rain falling down. But depending on how quick this rain falls down, I think Jix has got this in the bag. I think the two behind, Toto and Kevin, were stupid to come in knowing that rain could potentially come. Mr. Checo's into the pits. That's way too early. He's going to go into intermediates, but he may as well try it. He's down in the bottom part of the points. If it starts absolutely bucketing it down now, it could be very interesting. Obviously, Jix is going to suffer on those older tyres because older tyres in the rain just make it even worse to drive. We'll keep an eye on Kevin's times as well. But it is definitely raining here in Monza with 8 laps to go. Kevin is 1.2 seconds off his fastest time, but he's setting up just last lap. Part of that will be tyre degradation, but that is also wet weather. The wet weather is definitely playing a part in this as Mr. Jerry overtakes Maxi Airpro. Mr. Checo's definitely not gaining on those tyres. He's coming way too early. He's seen rain, jumps the gun, and thinks that it's just instantly wet when it's not, unfortunately. But if you're Jix, the only thing that can really stop him from winning now is a spin or a pit lane speeding penalty. As Maxi Airpro overtakes Jerry. Jerry's into the pits. So's Werner. Into the pits those two go. We'll see how those two do. Jerry had an inspired call to go into intermediates towards the end of last race, and it's definitely a bit wetter. It's definitely a lot wetter than it was last time around. Jix is pulling away from Radzik, and Radzik has pulled a bit away from Kevin as well. Kevin is conditions. And now he's starting to pull some of that time back, but Jix could easily be coming in at the end of his line. He doesn't. He stays out. Yep, intermediates are about the same pace. Radzik is in. Radzik is into the pit lane. Kevin is staying out. Radzik could get a win. Could get the win here if he pulls off a good strategy call. I think Jix will be in next lap to cover him off though. Radzik in and out of the pit lane. And that is interesting. Let's see how the Ferrari man responds in these wet weather conditions. We'll keep the gap to the leader open. Currently 31.3 seconds as Mr. Checo gets a time penalty for track limits. Currently 30, he's gaining an absolute ton. Those tyres are the correct. They are the correct ones to be on. There is no doubt about that. Yellow flags in sector 3. I'm not sure whose that's gone off. It was Envy. But yeah, the leaders are just wailing around, wallowing around in these conditions. Radzik is going to be gaining an absolute ton on them. At least a couple of seconds. Jerry could gain a few positions here as well. Jix is into the pits. Kevin should be as well if he has any sense. DRS has been disabled now, so yeah, it's definitely time to put on some inters. Radzik made the clever call there, came in early, and has managed to gain a bit of time here. Kevin also in for the inters. Jix will come out in first place, there's no doubt about that. He had a massive because of his pit strategy calls. Radzik assumes P2, Kevin down to P3, and Toto in P4. But Radzik has definitely gained. That gap was not 3.7 seconds before these two came into the pits. As Torrens gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Toto back onto the racetrack. Jerry cycles up to 5th place. Another great strategy call by Jerry. Everyone is now on the intermediate tyres. Shmee and Werner battling into turn 1. Shmee goes deep but keeps the position for now at least, and he does keep that position. Radzik has gained a little bit on this lap as well. On Jix. But something tells me that Jix is just getting used to those tyres and now is starting to pull away from the Ferrari man. As now we see Radzik come around the final corner. He's using some ERS. He doesn't have the same straight line speed that Jix has, which is interesting. Yellow flags in sector 2. That's one of the McLarens off. That's Torrens round. It's not going to be a safety car. As he's got Kinnick right behind him. Kinnick got the inside into Lesmo 2, backs out of it though, realising that it could ease chaos if they make contact. Oh, and Torrens just spins him. Torrens has just spun him. Torrens has just spun Kinnick. Seemingly on purpose. There's no way that wasn't on purpose. Leaving a massive ton of debris behind. I know there was lag, but come on. That was blatant. There's now we're on lap 24 of 27. I think we could see Torrens come into the pits here. And he does, along with Kinnick. Kinnick's waiting for him. Torrens gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane again. Into the pits, those two come. Oh, please don't tell me there's going to be even more rivalry after this. There is going to be, isn't there? There just is. Kinnick comes out right behind, right. Torrens, I'm going to keep an eye on this just in case, just for Stewart's inquiries, because there's not really much going on, much else going on elsewhere, to be honest. And now Torrens right behind. That Alfa Romeo is definitely lagging a little bit. Remus and Mr. Checo also trading positions. Torrens and Kinnick come out of the pits on battling each other. They seem to have calmed down now. So yeah, we're on the second to last lap of this race. And it was initially very interesting, but the rain has kind of taken the excitement out of it because of the differing strategies. It's put people really far away from where they should be. As Jerry gets another 3-second time, Shmi right behind him, who's going to go for a move into the last corner. And into 5th place goes Shmi. Jerry has 6 seconds worth of time penalty, so he'll probably fall behind Werner and Maxi Airpro at this rate. Oh no, he's not. He's fighting back. Gets back past the McLaren in turn 1. They're going to try and go for their side by side. And they do, pretty cleanly actually. Yellow flags in sector 1. Torrens is retired. Not sure what happened there. But we won't have a late safety car. Kinnick has got no damage actually, so I don't know what happened between those two. There, Jerry and Shmi again into the second chicane. Come on! Oh, that is great racing between those two. How to leave room for your rivals, just about. Now to the inside, goes into 5th place again. They're going to keep trading positions, aren't they? And this win will be fantastic if he can keep it for Jix. Because Kevin's down in 3rd. Obviously, Kevin does still have fastest lap. And obviously that won't be improved, but this will be a 9-point gain. A 9-point gain for the guy who's behind in the championship. He will be 12 points behind going into the last couple of rounds. So after Monza, there is Baku, Singapore, Qatar, Mexico, Brazil and Abu Dhabi. That is 6 races. And Jix will just have to gain 2 points in each of them on his rival, which sounds like not a lot, but obviously you can't only gain like 2 points. But it doesn't really matter. He was one of only 2 drivers that didn't make a pit stop in that front pack, and he's got the reward for it. Jix is going to come round the final corner here in Monza, and he's going to win the Italian Grand Prix here in VDRL. Rajic will come in second after his brave strategy call. 3rd will be Kevin, and 4th will be another championship contender in Toro. The top 5 will be completed by Shmi. And then we'll see. Oh, last lap battles. We've got. Oh, Joe has gone off. Joe has gone off in his battle for 11th. Shmi's going to come around the final corner. He will take. Jerry will come home on the road in 6th, but probably won't get that position on time penalties. Max Yepler will take 6th, followed by Werner, followed by Remus, then Jerry, then Mr. Checo will take the last points position. Envy will take P11, the last of the losers, you could, or sorry, the first of the losers, you could say. And Joe Raha very much struggling towards the end. P12 for the AlphaTauri. And that concludes the race. We obviously will go into interviews after this, I think. With at least the top 3, maybe even Toto if he wants to. But yeah, so that is the win for Jix there. Confirmation of that. Magic on the top step in P2. And then his teammate Kevin Van Dijk on the 3rd step in P3. Showing off their plaudits there. And yep. We'll move into the interview short. Let me just check the standings. Toto was very high up in the standings, but Rajic really wasn't. So Rajic is going to have a really good after that. So obviously Kevin with the fastest lap will lose 9 points to Jix in the title battle. Toto will also gain some points, but not on everyone else. Just gaining some points in general. I think we're going to go into the interviews channel now. Let me just switch over. Oh wow, we have everyone here already. Fantastic. So should we get this underway then? These interviews underway right now then. So I think we should start, as we always do, with our 3rd place man. Kevin, you had a good race, leading parts of it, but then chose to pit before it got rainy. Were you expecting it to get that wet towards the end of the race?
No, because Friday there was also rain and it wasn't wet enough for the inters. So I thought it would be the same today. But yeah, and I also thought softs will be better in the rain than the mediums, because my mediums were like 60%.
Yep. So obviously that's not what happened. Do you think that had you done the same strategy as the 2 drivers in front of you, that you would have had a chance at the win today?
Yeah, definitely.
And did you enjoy the battling that you did have before the whole wet weather came around?
Sorry?
I said, did you enjoy the battling you
Yeah,
had with the
definitely.
other?
It was very fun with Toro and Jigs. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's all of the questions I can think of for you. We'll move on to our 2nd place man, your teammate, Rajic. Obviously, a very good result for you. You're quite far back in the driver standings. Are you thinking on launching a last minute, maybe not a title campaign, but at least a good like top 5 or top 10 campaign in the Drivers' Championship?
Yeah, I think so. I hope that the next races I will punctuate very well. So I think the fight for the top 5 there will be.
And with your strategy call towards the end, going on the intermediates, obviously Kevin said that he didn't think it would become wet enough. Did you just know? Did you have a gut feeling that it would become wet enough to go on to the intermediates, or did you just go on to the tyres thinking it would be a gamble?
I was scared because of the incident on the Tier Friday. But Kevin said me firstly that don't pit, be behind Jigs. I remember, if I remember well. And in my thoughts, there was, oh no, there will be like the Friday, I will pit for Inters and it won't be the track wet. But I had the luck, and when I saw the watcher on the track, I said this is the time to pit, and I catch up a bit at Jigs, but not enough to fight with him.
Okay, so do you think that you didn't have the pace to win the race today, even if you'd have had a slightly better strategy than Jix?
I had a bit pace, but no enough to win the race.
Okay, that's fair enough. And I think with that, we'll move to our race-winning man. You've closed your gap to, I think, with my mathematics, 12 points in the standings. So is that a good win for you? And do you think that you can make it easier for your title challenge now?
Yeah, I'm extremely happy with the points I gained today. Yeah, of course, with the last 2 weeks, I think I didn't drive, so I had some work to do. I practiced a lot, and yeah, I'm very happy to win today.
Yeah, practice makes perfect then, it seems. You were one of two drivers who just stayed out until those wet conditions came. Were you doing what Radzik was doing, which was just staying out until it got wet?
Yeah, I was doing that. I knew what happened Friday with the rain, but the difference was when I asked the engineer for my weather report. I think Friday it said that light rain is gonna stay a while, and today it said that it's gonna keep getting heavier. So I knew it was gonna be in this at some point. But yeah, to be honest, I didn't make the nicest tire choice at the beginning because my tires were absolutely destroyed. I was trying everything, but yeah, I managed. I could have got a puncture, so it was 50-50 for me. It could have gone wrong. It was all or nothing. I needed to gain points to Kevin, so yeah, I managed to do that. So I'm extremely happy.
So, do you think now that with this gap being as close as it is, you can easily fight for the championship for the rest of the season? Then,
yeah, I think so, but I need to have more wins like this because I will lose one race, and that is exactly the sprint race. So I I have to gain a lot of points to accept that I can't drive like in Brazil. So yeah, it's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be a challenge.
right? So, I think that concludes the interviews for the top three guys. Unless you've got anything else you want to say, I think that concludes this lot for this race.
Yes.